This latest story reading is brought to you by Existential Dread and the Force. No. There we go. Star Wars, Adventures in Beggar's Canyon. That's kind of cute. The spine is Star Wars ships. I like that. Some also, who the hell is that? I guess we'll find out. There's also some Tusken Raiders, just to let you know where we are. It was a troubled time. An evil galactic empire ruled the galaxy while a band of brave rebels fought for freedom. Way to start off late. On the outskirts of the galaxy was a planet called Tatooine. The only planet. There's only like 5 of them. We keep going to all of them. There's no other ones. Just these 5. Far away from just about everything, this hot desert world was home to only a few creatures and a small population of humans, including a teenager named Luke Skywalker. Never heard of him. Luke lived and worked on a moisture farm. What is wrong with your face? Luke lived and worked on a moisture farm with his Aunt Beru and his Uncle Owen. They collected moisture from the air and sold it to other desert dwellers. Luke loved his aunt and uncle. Warning. But I wonder if they're going to... No, probably not in this. But farming wasn't for him. More than anything, Luke longed for adventure. One day, Luke and his friend Wendy, there he is. We've all seen him. We all know him. He's been in every movie. He's just been standing right off frame, right out of camera. You didn't know, but he was always there. Luke and his friend Wendy set up for a remote area in Tatooine called the Beggar's Canyon. Let's go target a few white rats, suggested Luke as they climbed into his T-16 Skyhopper. Finally a day of fun. Luke steered towards Beggar's Canyon and the Skyhopper zoomed over the sands of Tatooine. The rocky walls of the canyon rose in front of them. And soon the two boys were dodging the craggy peaks. Yahoo! Wendy cried over the wind. Oh, very clever. Is that a womp rat? Is that what they look like? It's like a little wolf. Look at you. I'll take you home. Make friends with you. You look like a good boy. Or girl. I don't know how womp rat sexual dimorphism works. Oh, there's another one. Or is it the same one? Possibly the same one. Seems like they're not really doing anything wrong. They're just out here living life. Seems like you could be targeting stuff that's actually causing you a problem. I thought womp rats would be like getting into the moisture farm mechanics or something. Gumming up the moisture holes. I don't know how moisture farming works. They don't explain it. It's like a giant humidifier in the desert. But no, they're just chasing this fucker around. They don't care. You ain't doing nothing. You're just being a womp rat. It's kind of sad. As the Skyhopper shot around a corner, Luke's eyes widened. They had reached a sharp turn. Luke swerved hard to the left, but the Skyhopper crashed into a rocky wall. Karma. In a burst of flame, the Skyhopper fell to the canyon floor. Are you all right? Luke called as they climbed out of the wreckage. I think so, Wendy replied shakily, neither of which I emulated. Luckily, nobody was seriously hurt. Yeah, shame. Before long, Luke and Wendy were surrounded by a group of scavenging Jawas. The strange little creatures combed the desert in search of junk. They were told to comb the desert, so they're combing it. Old ships and scrap metal. which they fixed up and sold to the Tatooine settlers. And right now they were after Luke's T-16. "Hey, get away from there!" Luke shouted. With lots of shouts and arm waving, Luke and Wendy finally chased away the Jawas. But soon after, more dangerous visitors arrived. Sand people. Luke exclaimed worryingly, which I didn't realize that was a... Let me try that again. "Sand people," Luke exclaimed worriedly. "We better hide." Luke and Wendy hurried behind a large boulder, the size of a small boulder. Peeking out from their hiding place, they saw a band of the nasty-looking nomads climb off their giant hairy banthas and approach the T-16. Then one of the sand people began searching for survivors. Luke and Wendy held their breath as the nomad passed their hiding place and kept on going. Phew. Yep, there they are. No one will find them there, behind the rock, the boulder. Man, it's a good thing they had that light. By the time the sand people climbed on their banthas, and rode away, it was getting dark. "We better make camp," Luke said. "It's a good thing you had all this shit. You didn't even know this was going to happen." Luckily, the sand people hadn't found the blankets or lantern Luke kept hidden in the T-16. Luke pulled them out while Wendy found a cave-like spot for their camp. You could just call it a cave. It's fine. I've seen a lot of Star Trek. There's caves everywhere, according to that show. You didn't need to dress it up. Words. Oh no. Just then a terrible roar echoed off the canyon walls. A crate dragon. That's what leaves all the crates in Doom. You don't know that. You find them all there. There was a dragon that left those there. Wendy whispered as his eyes went wide. Luke looked around nervously. Crate dragons were the fiercest animals in Tatooine. And this is also the first we've ever heard of them, unless they're in some sort of extended universe novel that I haven't read, which is all of them. They attacked almost anything. Ah! Oh no. Suddenly, one of the terrifying beasts rushed out of the darkness, straight at them. Panicked, Luke and Wendy looked for an escape. But the canyon rose straight up behind them, and the dragon blocked the path in front of them. They were trapped. At that moment, oh, fuck off. No, you can't hit... No. I mean, I know they've met, but... No. You can't do this. Alright, anyway. At that moment, a mysterious figure appeared out of the darkness, a man in a hooded robe. In a simple gesture, the figure held his hand up in front of the dragon. Strangely, I was afraid he would show up. I really was. You could have picked anything. It didn't have to be him. Strangely, the dragon reared up... Strangely? No. It's not that strange. The dragon reared up fearfully, then scurried into the darkness. Ah! You don't look very scared. Or like you're rearing or moving into the darkness at all. Who are you? Luke asked. My name is Ben. That's my Ben Kenobi voice. The man replied, I live in the Jutland Wastes. How did you do that? Wendy asked, still amazed at the dragon's departure. By the dragon's departure. But I'm not going to do that again. Ben smiled. You two had better get some sleep, he said. We have a long day in front of us if we're going to get you two back home. Early the next morning, the threesome started the long journey to Luke's uncle's farm. Before long, they came across a herd of wild dewbacks. Wendy looked worried, but Luke noticed that Ben was staring at one of the big creatures. A second later, it walked right up to them. Riding the dewback, Luke, Wendy, and Ben soon arrived at the moisture farm. Luke was relieved to be home and excited to tell his aunt and uncle about how Ben had saved them. Don't tell Owen about how Ben saved them. He'll not take that well. After hugging his aunt and uncle, that was some adventure, huh? Luke launched into the story. It was amazing, he said. But then he noticed that Uncle Owen seemed to recognize Ben. Could they know each other? Luke turned to Ben, but he was already off in the distance. He disappeared into the desert landscape as quickly as he'd appeared in Beggar's Canyon the night before. The next day, Luke and Wendy took lots of tools and headed back out to Beggar's Canyon in Luke's land speeder. As Luke bent over the Skyhopper's engine and got to work, Ben popped into his mind. It almost felt as though, but don't do that. Don't do that. No. No, this is all wrong. No, none of this is canon at all. I'm not going to accept this. It almost felt as though Ben was watching over him and would always be with him. Yeah, he's right there. He's right there on the cliff. Luke, you're looking the wrong way. He's behind you. He's right behind you, isn't he? Oh, that's it. Wow, what an adventure. Well, happy, May the 4th be with you. Bye.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.